Alacia gathered Harlut in her arms and leapt upon Gestay's broad back. Soon they were flying high in the air towards the ocean city. Around them, the golden beams of Kurlra faded and mixed with the greenish rays of Gresha, the afternoon sun. Purple light flashed as Plurpla, the third of the planet Tirwal's sons, began to assert influence. Soon a complex twilight would be followed by the Tirwalian night, a night sky filled with vivid and endless variants of azure, purple, and black, and wild riots of constellation whose visibility depended on the relative positions of the three suns, and the intricate dance of eclipses from neighboring planets and moons. Vespucian trailed behind the two larger Parians. She did her best to send Harlut protective, calming images. Gestay chuckled to her. "Rest, Vespucian. We've got this." But Vespucian ignored him and continued to help her bondmate as best she could, eliciting yet another proud chuckle from the noble charger. The warrior guard was now gone, swept back to the ocean city. All except one. Next to the eerie bulk of the war chief, alit the most impressive of all Parianths, the silver-maned stallion, Jigafra. On his back was a man, lean and tall, his skin a deep burnt orange color. Light green armor adorned his body. Whitish hair sprouted from under a simple gold helm. A mystical spray of light refracted from a bright green diamond prism in place of his left eye. Verdun, the ancient warrior who served as war leader of Plathanta, should such be needed, dismounted Jigafra and pulled from the hideous bulk his green lance. He cleaned it on the tall grass next to the lake and looked about him. The war chief's remains were now collapsed in a heap, but Verdun noticed movement. He went to it, kicked around. He saw the bulbous antenna on the war chief's head pulsing like a beacon. He drew a green coral blade from his sash, cut out the grotesque tentacle, and tossed it, now lifeless, beside the rack. He felt a crushing weight of sadness fall upon him. He looked over to see Jigafra standing over the body of Jigla, his son. Verdun sighed. "I am so sorry, dear friend. He was a great being and died a tremendous warrior." In response, he felt from Jigafra only a complex wave of grief, almost beyond even his ability to translate in his mind. "There will be more strife, Jigafra. I see war ahead."
"Yes, as do I,"
echoed the great creature.
"These things, Parians have fought them before, long ago, an age past. I believe your race has encountered them as well."
Imagery now streamed in Verdun's inner eye as he glimpsed the scenes flowing in Jigafra's mind.
"We thought they were all destroyed. We call them the Vorn. They are hideous and evil, and incredibly dangerous if their hive is reformed."
Verdun nodded and asked his bond to signal Warrior Guard to return to take up the remains for study. "Archimedes and his apprentices will have work studying these creatures." He knew Parianths were already on their way to bear Jigla's body to a place of secret burial high upon the volcanic mountain's flank, a place only those with wings could access. Verdun leapt to Jigafra's back. With the slightest flip of whose wings, they were soon flying at a great height toward the ocean city. Before them, thick reddish clouds fumed from sky to turf like vast jellyfish. They passed through this viscous curtain and were refreshed by its softly acidic vapors. They soared high over a range of mountains, dominated ahead by the tremendous volcanic mountain, Plathanta, once worshipped by Verdun's people as a god. Verdun's brow darkened. A vision of the horror on the plain behind them flared sharply through his mind. Jigla, his heroic form twisted and broken, his powerful soul wasted and lost. Lin, the girl he'd helped raise from babe to young woman, like family. Her brilliant smile now disfigured as she ranged perilously close to death. The sound of her girlish laughter played around the edges of his thoughts like a guttering flame. The diamond in place of his left eye flashed green fire like tears of light. They were immersed in glorious, multicolored light as they flew high over the mountains. Now before them yawned the expanse between the arms of the mountain, arms which reached to the sea, and between which was carven out of living rock the Ocean City. The Ocean City! Mystical light streamed from her spires, reaching upward to greet the dawning stars. Noble Parianths circled the towering head of the snow-peaked mountain. Great sea eagles soared above. Ocean waves thundered against her seaward bastions, where giant gull-like birds swarmed and became meteors of glinting whiteness as they plunged into the sea, into massive shoals of fish which fumed right out of the water, amidst leaping dolphin and shark-like creatures. Below them, in the city streets, Verdun could see people walking and dancing, children playing, and people working in the effulgent gardens weaving throughout the city like the veins of a vast organic sea creature. An astonishing riot of music and sound reached his ears from the city below. A gorgeous symphony of endless diversity which never failed to lighten his spirit. Jigafra's soul stirred below him like ocean currents of limitless depth. His Parianth bond emitted a deep, reverberant chuckle, and, like distant thunder, the cells in Verdun's body rumbled in response. They were both filled with love and wonder at the sight of their home. Jigafra surged upwards. They swept into the high air close to the stars, and Verdun could not help but raise his lance aloft and scream joy at the sky.